let me tell you a little bit about the grip. How about we use the official guide for Kendo instruction? The overall use of the hands when striking or responding, including the way of gripping the shinai, the tiny loosening of the grip, and the adjusting of balance between the two hands. It also refers to the leather in the palms of the kote. For the purpose of today's stream, I'm going to say gripping when it comes to just holding the sword when you're in kamae, and tenouchi, the moment of impact. Let me talk specifically about gripping the sword and how it relates to the moment of striking. Proper grip will allow you to have better impact, better execution of tenouchi, because it will allow you to be relaxed on the wrist, so that way the shinai can create momentum and accelerate until the very last second to get a better impact. And with proper grip, you also have the best control of the sword after that moment of impact, because you can sharply stop it regardless how fast you're going into your technique. When you have proper grip, you allow yourself to transfer the energy into the target, and you also allow yourself to get a better stop. What I have to say is that there is this little piece of misinformation about how to do tenouchi, and that the tenouchi would change the grip of your sword. I'm sure that you guys heard like, oh, you do tenouchi like when you're wringing a towel, when you're squeezing the water of a towel. And I'm gonna say that while that is a good analogy, it can be easily misinterpreted, because people, when they think of a towel, when you hear the word towel, is, you know, a towel that you want to squeeze out, and then people tend to do this and change their grip as they're attacking, right? That is incorrect. What you're thinking about more like a tea towel. If you get a towel that's this big, you cannot really do this, right? It's too small. The way you get the water out is by squeezing it with these fingers. And this is more the motion of tenouchi, and this is what happens at the moment of impact. Actually, with the left hand actually happens before the moment of impact, and with the right one happens right at the moment of impact and even a little bit after, but fractions of seconds to get that sharp snap. With all this, what I'm trying to say is, do not change the way that you hold your sword as you swing. Doesn't matter what angle you're hitting on, you're always keeping the same grip. You're not disconnecting your arms from the sword. That's the purpose of a good grip, to transfer the energy and to be effective into making the sword move the way you want it to move. How do I do grip? How do I grip my sword? Okay, I'm going to give you some thoughts and give you a lot of the points that I got. Some of them I got from the official guide for Kendo instruction. Let me just give you a couple of things from the instruction guide. So the correct way to hold the bokuto or shinai is first to grip the bottom of the tsukagashira firmly from top with the little fingers on the left hand, firmly or tight with my pinky, firmly with my ring finger, lightly with my middle, and gently with my index and thumb. Grabbing it from the top. You want to avoid grabbing it from the side. So mainly what I like to think about this is that when I open my hand, my palm should be on top of the shinai. And what this does to me is this. Connects my arm into my shinai. If I have it sideways, my arm is kind of like aiming a little bit outside of the shinai. The line where my arm is aiming here, it's kind of aiming here. So that means that it's easy for my hand to go out this way. But if I have it properly, the shinai will always push back against my hand. Now there's one more point. Instead of grabbing this like a fist, you want to grab it more like a gun. To me, it looks more like if I'm holding a gun rather than I'm making a fist. And a lot of this becomes because of the relaxation from the thumb and the index that allows the shinai to move forward. Why? Well, especially for me, when I'm doing the swing, I'm squeezing as it's coming down, and what it does is that if you see the angle between the shinai and my arm, it starts changing. It changes not because I'm throwing the shinai out and it's making this. It's changing because I am squeezing the sword, and then at the last point you get this angle because the sword does this motion. Similar to the left hand, place the right hand on the tsuka with a little ring finger gripping securely and the middle finger handled lightly and the index finger and thumb gently touching, coming into contact. The right hand should be slightly separated from the tsuba, meaning, again, do not do this. This will allow you to produce a forward angle when you attack. You want to graze the tsuba with index, and the separation here between your thumb and the tsuba should be about 2 fingers. Not too much, obviously, and not too close. I wanna have it relax a little bit. Mine's like about 2 fingers and a half. One quick little thing that I like to think about. Everybody talks about the whole thing with the V. Make sure that the V is aligned. A lot of people say the tsukagawa, right? But what happens is this thing twists a lot. So I try to align it with the suru. One thing that I like to do is that once I have somebody that understands this position properly, I like to make sure that the right hand lands on top of the left one, and they can feel this and then separate it accordingly. Okay, so if you do this correctly, this part of your hand should fit in this part of your hand. They should connect with each other like this. My point of contact with the sword, the main point of contact, is the bottom half of my pinky. The other part, this part of the finger, is not really in touch, right? I am putting pressure mostly with the upper part of the finger. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen this before. I've seen people trying to squeeze like this, like with this part of the finger, and it makes an aqua grip. I try to squeeze with the tip of my fingers inwards. Don't want to grip it like this. It's a little bit of an angle with the bottom part of the pinky. My sword gets in contact with the top of my hand, with the top of my finger in this one. In this one, in the ring finger, it is more even throughout the finger. Because this is a two-handed sword, the right hand, it's also very important to understand. Like the left hand, the pinky and the ring are firm on the sword. The middle finger is with a slight pressure on the sword, and then the index and the thumb are very relaxed. But when I'm in kamae, my sword is resting in this part of my middle finger. Because this, for me, is the point where the sword rolls up as I'm pushing forward. So if I'm in kamae right here, and I'm trying to bring my sword up, instead of, number one, pulling, I'm pushing like this, which is completely wrong. If not, go check my last video on Suburi, please. I'm resting my sword on my middle finger, and then when I'm pushing forward to do my attack, the sword is kind of like pushing in and is rolling off the middle finger, right? That allows me to not put force with my bicep as I bring the sword up. It allows me to just throw my arms forward. The next thing is that from here, my right hand will guide my sword, will tell the sword where to go. So for me, it's very important not to tense this up, and because if I tense it, it's not gonna be able to help me stop the sword at the end to do the tenouchi. So it's very important for me to have a good grip that is flexible, relaxed, and ready to do what it needs to do. I guess the biggest point I'm trying to make here is that the middle finger serves as a balancing point, as a roll-off point to go up. Now, if I have my hand on the side, right, rather than on the top, I also cannot provide proper energy to the sword, because what's going to happen after I push, I'm gonna have to pull, right? Push, pull. So when I pull, if my hand is on the side, I have the chances of doing this, or even worse, I cannot really put any pressure to make the good contact. When you have it properly, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stretch my sword here. I'm gonna rest it on my monitor, so hopefully I don't break it. Now, when I put the impact on the sword, what I do is that I pulling with my left hand, and my right one is serving as a point of stability to make sure that the force transfers into my target, rather than I lose my grip and lose the impact into the sword.